What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pages from Rock Bottom. I'm Matt. This is my beautiful wife, Kim. Tonight, we're honored with Cory Collins.
Howdy.
He said, howdy. Well,
Thank
you
you.
said howdy. Well, howdy, Cory. How are you doing? Can you hear us? What happened? Well, while we figure this out, we're gonna
Trigger warning.
trigger warning. Tonight's episode contains substance abuse. We're gonna be, a little bit of profanity. And we're gonna wait for Cory to come back on. I'm not really sure what happened, but tonight we have, Mr. Cory Collins, and I'm not sure if like his phone rang or what did happen, but just be mindful of your guys's, situation. If you guys get triggered really easy, please just take a few minutes, step away, and give yourself minutes and come back.
He's coming back right now.
But we're gonna be welcoming Cory back here in just a minute. But Pages around rock bottom. What happened?
He's
He's making fun of me. All right, here we go. Let's try this again, y'all. I'm so sorry. Oh,
I'm sorry.
it is okay. Welcome back, Cory.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My phone died. The charger didn't work.
It is okay. All right, Cory.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are and where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am from a little town in Jackson County called Colton, Ohio, which I doubt too many people have heard of. And it's basically about the size of my driveway. And it is just if you're an old person, I guess it's all right to live there, you know what I mean? If you have money, but
Yeah.
if you're a young person trying to make it, it is absolute shit show. Yeah.
Little town.
It's
Does it even have a light?
No, it does not even have a red light in it. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Not even a red light. Man, that's little towns
It's got
like
about
that.
3 stops. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's a village, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's pretty terrible. Yeah.
So take us back, Cory. Take us back to where everything started for you. Tell us about your childhood.
Well, my childhood was it was pretty decent, I guess. You know what I mean? I played sports a lot, but I was back and forth a lot from Columbus to here. You know what I mean? And so in and out of a lot of different schools and stuff. And then basically once I got to about middle school, that's when I started like building resentments, I guess, towards my dad for always like keeping us in sports all year round and everything, which is awesome and stuff. But like he played pro baseball, and so he just tried to force it on us a lot. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
kind of got burnt out. And so kind of got burnt out on it, and that's when I got into like music and everything. And then I just you know how it goes, partying with teenagers and stuff. And then so I started smoking weed, and then eventually I jumped straight into heroin after that. You know what I mean?
What age was that?
I was basically 15.
Ooh.
So yeah, at 15 I was full blown heroin addict, you know, and doing anything, heroin, Xanaxes, and then that eventually led to dropping out of school, and then just basically living the street life, you know what I mean, which I thought was the coolest thing ever at the time. And before I realized what I was into, I was basically in too deep, you know what I mean? On probation at 15, and I still am on it to this day, and have never been off, which is crazy. But yeah, man, I just thought being a dope boy, which I guess if I could even ever call myself that, I was my best customer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always how it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to sell dope, and I'm going to get dope for free, and I can get high for free, but then you end up doing all your profit. That happens.
Every time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
it
front
just,
myself
it's a,
back. Yeah, it's a never-ending
Yeah.
cycle, and
Yep.
and it's like I was always trying to impress, I guess, all the people. And here's what the hardest lesson I had to learn was thinking that everybody had the same heart as I did. You know what I mean? So I would look out for people all the time. You know what I mean? Give them my last bag, get them high, everything. You know what I mean? And then I'd leave myself with nothing and homeless, nowhere to go, all that, and then thinking this motherfucker now got a pocket full of dope and money. You know what I mean? And thinking they're gonna look back out for me. But then you know how that goes. They don't even know you when they're up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, so it took me so long, dude, to like get out of that and realize like I'm not worried about anybody else anymore. I'm worried about trying to build my own life. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that didn't happen honestly until I talked to this dude named Doc Russell in Noble Correctional. Um, And dude, he was the dude I slept across from, and I thought my little 14 months was bad. This dude had been there since 1986. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
dang.
never leave.
Whew.
Yeah, yeah. And so when he started talking to me about that or whatever, you know what I mean, and told me he's like, man, I wish I had another chance to see the outside. You know what I mean? He'd been there since he was
Yeah.
18 years old, and he's like, you got your whole life ahead of you if you use it right. You know what I mean? And so I sat on my bunk that night, and I'm just looking around, like taking it all in and shit. And like I see some people that think that's cool want to make a career out of it and gangbang and all that. Well, that's cool. You can run that route. You know what I mean? So I chose to go to school in there and shit. And I went in there and got my GED, and I played softball a day afterwards. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I went to prison, I had warrants in 7 counties and 6 probation officers. Yeah, at one time. And so, like, prison, honestly, it was the biggest blessing of my life. Like, it saved my life because I would have never got all that shit taken care of, you know? I would have just kept running from it all forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so it saved my life, honestly.
So looking back, when did you first realize that addiction was taking over your life?
Uh, Probably I went to my first rehab at 16. And so that kind of woke me up, you know what I mean? A little bit. It didn't wake me up enough, I guess. But that was when the first like idea hit that I might have a problem, you know what I mean? Because like when I went to the high school I went to in Columbus after that, like all these kids never even heard of anything that I was ever doing, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I was like, damn, I might be either I'm the fucking black sheep here or I'm in a totally different lifestyle that I probably shouldn't be in for my age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was my first real, I guess, thing that I would fucking might have a problem. You know?
Shit, man, my first rehab,
Yeah.
I used other people to justify myself. Like, man, I'm not that bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Turns out it just wasn't yet.
Not yet.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you
Bro, I
describe?
heard this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I heard this saying in this rehab in Florida when people used to say "yeah," it means you're eligible too. You know what I mean? So basically, it means that you're there too. You know? So that shit kind of stuck with me. Yeah.
Man, I can look back. My not yet's, man. I just like Matt's. I remember like, and I'm just gonna share this because, I think this is important for people, especially if somebody's watching that, you know, that might still be there, still be out there, might still be using, but just because you're not doing it right now doesn't mean that you're not going to eventually.
Yeah.
Because I did, I was that person was like, oh, I'm not going to ever shoot dope. I'm not going to be like that person. I'm just going to snort it. I'm going to hot rail. I'm going to do this, but then, it wasn't even 6 months and I was, and I was shooting it and I was a full blown addict and couldn't live without it. So the not yets are real, guys. Just like Cory said and Matt said, the not yets are real. Can you describe like what a typical day was like for you back then?
A typical day back then was so when I lived in Colton, that little village I was telling you I'm from. I lived and I was always homeless. It'd be like jail homeless, jail homeless, jail homeless. So I lived in this broke down Dodge Durango that like had fucking broken out windows in it, 3 tires, all that. All right, and so I lived in that for years, damn near, and yeah, and so like every day I'd wake up in that thing, but I wouldn't even go to bed for, 3 or 4 days at a time. But I lived in that, and basically a day would be. So I lived on a hill, and both of my cousins at the bottom of the hill. One was a ice plug, one was a fentanyl plug. You know what I mean? So I would just go there or whatever all day or whatever, sell dope for them and make myself free dope, and then it would just be walking around there trying to avoid the cops. You know what I mean? Trying to avoid probation, and basically just getting high and hustling until I got caught again. You know what I mean? Before I'm mere inches away from dying or I overdose or something and get arrested and go back to jail for a couple months and then get out, do the same thing, go back to jail for a couple months. You know what I mean? And
That revolving door.
yeah, it never stopped, man. And I can't believe, like, literally, I looked up, and when I was in prison, I looked up and literally, dude, like the realization that my whole 20s just passed me by, and I literally did not get one fucking thing done but getting arrested and damn near dying. You know what I mean? Like,
So how many
it's
times did you
insane.
overdose in an active addiction? Would you say? Do you remember?
I would probably say around 40 or 50, maybe. Not even bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
I know. Remember one time there was an ambulance on my hill 3 times in 3 days or whatever. That was in the back of one, whatever. And like where I'm from, it just seemed like it's a normal thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's just didn't even phase me no more. And then like I caught endocarditis and ended up in a nursing home for 4 months. And you would think that would have been enough to wake me up, but it didn't or whatever. Literally the same night I got out, I had a needle right back in my arm. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And yeah, like, it's crazy. Literally flirting with death for real. You know what I mean? Like,
And you never
yeah,
caught it back, like
it's not.
you obviously, right?
Yeah, no, I hope not.
The
Because they
insanity
basically
of
told
it.
me they told me if I catch it again, basically like don't even come back to the hospital. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you're gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I don't even think they'll treat
yeah,
you again. I don't think. Will they?
no, I don't
They
think so.
may.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't think
Basically,
so, but I'm pretty sure they won't retreat
I
you
don't.
for it.
Yeah, if I
They
catch it
may,
again,
but
I don't even think. Yeah, I don't even think that I would make it to the hospital again. You know what I mean? Because like as bad
yeah.
a shape as I was in, yeah, dude. And
Yeah,
but
because
now
they
looking
normally
at it
say
with a
don't.
sober, yeah, like with a sober and clear mind looking at it, man, like you know what I mean? I'm only 31, just turned 31, and I was already that close to death for real. You know what I mean? Like I'm because like overdosing dying is nothing. You don't even know what's happening. You know what I mean? But when you're literally fighting, trying to catch your breath, and your oxygen levels are dropping, and you're passing out, you know what I mean? Literally dying that way, it's fucking scary, man.
Yeah, it's
You know,
real.
like yeah, it's a whole different type of dying. Like yeah, it's crazy.
Did you ever feel trapped, or did you just feel like it was a choice for you at first?
Um, I feel like well, it was when I was young. When I first moved to Jackson, it was all around me. You know what I mean? Like it was where I lived at. You know what I mean? Everybody that I first got introduced to there was selling heroin or, you know what I mean, something. And so I guess you know what I mean. There's really no escaping it, but I guess it was a choice. You know what I mean? Because I had the choice to go back to Columbus and finish high school and everything, but I chose to stay down there in Jackson to get high. You know what I mean? Because I thought it was the coolest shit ever at the time. And like I said, man, just before I realized really what everything was and everything, you know what I mean? I was a full blown heroin addict, dope sick, you know, and just on the road to destruction, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
What was that first time like for you? I know for like you just Matt always described it as like having a cold or you thought he
Yeah, I
had the
thought I had the flu,
flu.
man.
Like What was that
Yeah.
first time that you realized like you were actually dope sick?
Oh yeah, no. It was fucking basically just didn't really know what's going on with you. You know what I mean? Like, but like feel like you have the flu type shit. You know. And I remember the first time I accidentally used stagnated water too, man. Oh, whatever. That
Ooh.
shit's like cotton fever times 10. Yeah. Because that
Yeah.
broke down Durango. I told you lived in. So I had a bottle of water that sat in the middle console that I would just always hop in there and do dope. You know what I mean? With. And so it sat there in like the hot summer sun for, I don't know, quite some time. And
Yeah.
I did it, man. Man, I'm talking like projectile vomit and black shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
dude, it was, yeah, it was terrible, man. It was crazy.
wow.
Yeah.
I probably would have been like, I need to go to the hospital. I'm dying.
Avoided hospital.
Yeah, the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He avoided a hospital all cost.
All costs.
All cost. So at what age did you become homeless for the first time and started living in your Durango?
Well, I became homeless for the first time probably around like 15 or 16 when I was still in high school. And then that Durango whole thing basically when I was like 18 to probably 29, it was there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was still there when I got out of prison. Except fucking, we ended up selling it to a junkyard or something. But you know what I mean? I just came home from prison a whole different person. You know what I mean? And so like I was like, I don't care what it takes. I'm not going back to living in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like something's got to change in my life. You know what I mean? Like and
some people, man, that don't seem like a big deal, but like selling that Durango, bro, like how'd that feel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that was
Memories.
stability, that was security.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And dude, that's like the biggest thing in my life that was always missing was stability. Because dude, I can't tell you how many nights I sat in that fucking Durango, bro, and it could be 3 feet of snow outside, like 20 degrees outside, like literally so cold that I couldn't even use the water to shoot dope because it's iced. You know what I mean? And literally just sitting there, man, when it, like I hated to see dark time come, you know what I mean? Because like I just sit there and wonder why everybody else has somewhere to go, you know what I mean? And I don't, you know what I mean? And like, and just knowing that when nighttime comes, I just had to sit there in my fucking thoughts by myself all night, you know what I mean? And that's when, you know what I mean? That's the worst, you know what I mean? Because that's when I overdose or, you know what I mean? I fucking beat myself up for real, you know? Like, and yeah, it was just some long nights in there, man, for sure.
So can you tell us a little bit about like
you know?
why, how you became homeless? Like, did you and your parents not get along? Did they find out you were doing drugs? Like, what led to you being homeless?
When my grandparents, like, so my grandparents are like two of the best people I've ever met on this earth. You know what I mean? Like, never done drugs, never anything. So that's who I stayed with. And well, when they go to bed, you know what I mean, then that's when like I would always leave and everything, you know what I mean, because when dope calls, I gotta go, you know what I mean, you know how it goes. And so well, he basically sometimes wouldn't come home for a few days and everything, and basically when they found out I was on drugs, they're like, look, you know what I mean, you get the fuck out of the house because you're not gonna be doing it here. And so my grandpa, he's like a hardcore dude, like a Vietnam vet and everything, but he's like the nicest dude in the world, you know. But I feel like it was his way of trying to teach me tough love, you know what I mean? And yeah, and so then basically I just, you know, kept getting more addicted, like, and I didn't care about coming home really, you know what I mean? As long as I could stay out here and get high, you know, that's all that consumed me, you know, especially being in that fucking little ass town too, where there is nothing, you know what I mean? So you feel 10 times more hopeless on top of that because you want to, in your heart, you want to do so much good shit, you know what I mean? Or be somebody, but you just have no opportunity to, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah. And so that led to a lot of it too.
So Were all of your overdoses were they accidental, or were you trying to kill yourself at certain points?
Uh, a lot of them were accidental. A few of them, you know what I mean. I could say I, you know what I mean, tried to just escape. You know what I mean, and
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and but it seemed like someone was always like would find you, or but a lot of them, most of them were accidental. You know what I mean, but. Like sometimes in my head when I put it on the can or the spoon, man, I know it's too much. You know what I mean? And like, damn, that's probably going to kill me. And what happens? I ended up, dying too. But yeah, but I don't know. It never really like hit me like how much I was really flirting with death until I got sober. You know what I mean? Especially like when you hear about someone overdosing once, man, and it's over with for him. Like literally, I don't even know if the number's 40. I just know it's a lot, dude. You know what I mean? It seemed like it's an every other day thing. Yeah, and
That's a lot of times to overdose. God, I don't shoot. I didn't overdose. I mean, thank God. I probably would have never made it. Probably after like my 8th time, God had been like, "Listen, we ain't doing this with you no more." You know what I mean? He gave me so many chances, but I feel like he gives us all a lot of chances. That's why we're still
like
here.
It literally got to the point where people wouldn't even sell me dope or whatever, or let me like do it around them or anything because I overdosed. It seemed like every time I would do it, I overdosed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. I don't know. My body just can't handle it.
What were some of those hardest moments for you in those early years?
Hardest moments were probably just spending all those nights on the street, man. You know what I mean? And like really just trying to make it. You know what I mean? Just like the nights when you're dope sick as fuck, it's raining. You know what I mean? You're exhausted as hell. You know what I mean? From walking from Jackson to Colton, back and forth, dope sick as hell. Yeah, man, and just just literally walking, dude, at like 2 or 3 in the morning, hungry as fuck, tired as fuck, dope sick as fuck. And then one of the hardest moments when I had endocarditis, I had overdosed and my ankles were swollen like this, and
Ooh.
they took me all the way to the hospital. Yeah, on Burlington, and I'm dope sick as hell because that Narcan just kicked in, and they released me from the hospital, dude, and I had to walk all the way from there all the way back to Cleveland with my ankles swollen like that. You know what I mean? Narcan hitting me. That was probably one of the worst moments of my life. Yeah. Yeah. And I had endocarditis, double pneumonia, and fluid on my lungs at once.
Oh shit!
So they didn't find it that night at the hospital. When did they finally figure out that you had it?
So that night, Holzer Narcan me 5 times sober when I went out there, like trying to figure out why I kept passing out and shit. All right,
Yeah.
So I knew something was like going on with me, and so my cousin happened to be in a halfway house in Circleville, and my other cousins were going up to see him or whatever, and so like I'm like, no one around here will take me to the hospital. Literally, I've asked everybody, I'm gonna fucking die if I don't. And so they were gone, and I asked them if I could hitchhike a ride with them and jump out on the highway at Adena or whatever. So I did that or whatever, and I jumped out or whatever, and I went in there, and I was like, look, something is fucking wrong with me. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me, but something's wrong with me. And they did some tests, and they're like, look, dude, we got to admit you now. You're going to be dead within 72 hours. You know what I mean? And I went there by myself or whatever, and I didn't come home for 4 months, And my mom was in prison at the time, and my brother Cody was locked up, and they're like 2 of the closest people to me, you know what I mean? And so basically, I sat in Columbus in a nursing home by myself for 4 months, trying to get better, and it was crazy. Yeah.
So at this point, you're sick, you're trying to get better, you have no family, right? Nobody's even there for you. What was that like?
Right. It was lonely, man. You know what I mean? And like I talked to my mom and my brother on the phone. I know if they would have been home, they would have been there. You know what I mean? But it was fucking lonely, man. You know what I mean? Because like if I would have died, basically made me feel like I would have been there. You know what I mean? Like would have anybody even? I mean, I know people would have gave a fuck, but like made me feel like would anybody even be there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, that's a fucking lonely ass feeling, man. You know, and that I wouldn't really wish on anybody. You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that like people would just be better off without you, or the world would be better off without? I know I used to
Shit. All the time.
all the
Yeah, I
time.
thought that so many nights. I thought that so many nights in that Durango, man. That you know what I mean. Like when, especially after you wake up getting Narcan, like why the fuck do you keep waking me up? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, it's just yeah, and it's crazy, man. 'Cause, like I never thought that storm cloud of addiction would ever fucking end. And then all of a sudden, like when I came home from prison or whatever, it's like God gave me everything I fucking asked for. You know what I mean? Like all that shit that I prayed for, and it's just crazy. Like I did have to get a little when I came home. I tried to be good or whatever, but I did get like another like little 6 or 7 month run in or whatever, getting high. And then my fiance now, whatever, finally like she stayed sober with me the whole time that I was getting high and shit. And then she finally put her foot down or whatever, and it's like, look, I'm leaving. I'm going to Portsmouth, whatever. You know what I mean, for treatment and stuff. And then she's basically like, if you want to be with me, then I guess I'll see you down there. And then so I packed our whole house up, and then like 5 days later, I came down there, whatever, and I was like, man, I at least knew this girl that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
cause I put her through and shit, and so I came down there with her and thugged the whole program out with her and everything, and now we got a fucking badass life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been sober how long?
A little over 16 months. So since October 9th of 2024. Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So okay, let's
Yeah.
go back just a little bit, if you don't mind. When you were in and out of jail like 3 or 4 times a year, can you walk us through what that cycle looked like for you? Was you stealing things? Was you selling drugs? What was you getting arrested for and going to jail and going to prison for?
Mostly it was just like probation, and like I haven't caught no new charges since probably like 2017 or something. But just from all them previous charges, I had racked up so much probation time. You know what I mean? Probation would hit me with a PV and put a warrant out for me or whatever. So yeah, and then it seemed like once I caught all them charges in all them counties or whatever, I stayed with the warrant. You know what I mean? So anytime I would come in contact with one, I'd have a warrant somewhere, and they'd drive me to the county line. They'd drive me to the county line. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
like just on
They
my
pick you
last
up.
bit before I got out of prison, I was in 9 different county jails and 2 different prisons just on that trip. Yeah, getting
That's
all
some
that
shit in it. You'll do your prison sentence,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, you gotta go
Yeah.
do this at this county," and then they're like, "Oh, when you're done with this, you gotta go do this one at this county." It sounds like I'm not calling you out, my brother,
when I was
but
getting,
sounds like my brother Bobby. That's all I'm going to say. He does the same thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I thought I was coming home from prison, like, and you know, I'm walking to R&D with my box and shit, thinking I'm coming home, and fucking, they're like, they got a big ass paper that says warrant to transfer on the table, and they're like, "Oh, you two go over there," and like, "You go in there, buddy, you got a ride coming." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
And
and
so
they don't want to tell you
fucking-
until day one.
Yeah, Pike County was there to pick me up or whatever, and fucking they give me 180 more fucking days in Morrow County the day I think I'm coming home. Yeah, and then so after I do that for 80 days, think I'm going home again. Whatever, then Scioto County's in Sallyport waiting for me there, and brings me down
Yep.
here to do. I only did 3 down here, but I was like, motherfucker, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like that's 6 months stretch in county about killed me in prison.
I want to dig into your mindset, like when you would think you're getting released, right? Because you're still homeless. Like, what's your mindset when
Yeah.
you're getting out?
Dude, I was scared to death to come home, man. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Because like I had 14 months clean in there, you know what I mean? And like I had my weight up, I had my mind good, you know what I mean? Like my mindset was focused on doing better and shit, and I knew what I had to come home to, you know what I mean? Like, and I knew where I lived at. Like I said, I live on a hill and literally I could throw a football and hit or get fentanyl ice, whatever, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and like when I came home, I tried to do good. Like I locked myself in the house for the first 30 days, didn't leave. And then my cousin's selling all this ice and shit, and got all these people pulling in my driveway left and right. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there broke as fuck. And I'm like, man. And so went out there and I spent $5 with him or whatever, and he gave me like 3.8. You know what I mean? Or something, a little over a ball. So I'm like, who wouldn't? You know what I mean? And then it was right back off to the races, you know, for another like 6 or 7 months. Yeah, it's crazy.
Was there ever a moment that you thought that you might break the cycle?
Yeah, well, it's crazy because my brother Cody, he was actually down here in treatment or whatever when I got out of prison and shit. And so he was doing good, doing his thing. And then my mom came down here and went to treatment and did her thing or whatever, you know what I mean? And so that basically is what kind of got me on board too, you know what I mean? Because everybody that I love from home moved down here and it's now, you know, counselors and working in treatment doing their thing. And so I was finally, man, I was scared to death to come down here and go to treatment because I've never done it, you know what I mean? And but I finally just did it, man, because you can't grow if you don't get uncomfortable, you know what I mean? And literally there was nothing there for me anymore, you know what I mean? It's just I feel like that ship is sailed, and that I've been to prison, I've been to jail, the next one's a casket, you know what I mean? And I'm lucky I survived not being in one this long, you know? Like, and just, you know, I feel like my grandparents, like, you know, I feel like I want them to see me be somebody before they die, you know what I mean? Because I've done put them through so much fucking hell. And, you know, I want him, my grandpa's the best man I know, so like before he goes to the ground, I want him to at least, you know what I mean, say he could be proud of me, you know?
Shout out to Grandpa.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And Grandma. I'm not leaving Grandma out, guys. Yeah. We're going to do a shout out to both.
Yeah.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much stuck in this vicious cycle, man. Like, was there ever a moment when you're like, this is what my life is and this is what it's going to be? Or did you ever? Go ahead.
Well, I thought forever that fucking that's just what it was for people where I'm from, you know what I mean, or whatever, and that just got dealt that hand, you know, and because that's all I seen around, and so many like what I hated too about living there, man, too, was like in my heart and in my head, dude, like I know what I can be, you know what I mean, and just given the right opportunity. You know, but it's just like so many people there, bro, are just so content in their misery, you know what I mean? And they just fall victim to it and just stay in that. And like I told myself every day, I don't care. Like I'm not gonna be that fucking person, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit there and settle for a fucking $600 a month welfare check and just fucking be content with my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and like even in addiction, man, like, you know what I mean? Like I grinded my ass off, tried to, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's instilled in me too, is just because where I was always homeless for so long, just having to like struggle, like hustle to make it, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that instilled in me still to this day, you know what I mean? Like I'm always grinding, I'm always, you know, I have trouble sitting still, you know? And yeah, man, like I don't know, I just could not be one of them people, man, you know? I don't see how they do it. Like,
During my active addiction, man, I always wanted to get my shit together until I was sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then that shit went out the window.
Yeah, me too, for sure. For damn sure. Like, literally, bro. And especially when you get high too after that, bro, you sit and like, you know what I mean? Everything just hits you again, you know what I mean? Like fucking thinking about how much of your fucking life you're wasting and all them fucking literally work your ass off 10 hours a day, get paid, and then just go hand it to somebody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be broke again. Like that shit, I used to hate that, bro. But that when that dope sickness kicks in, like I don't care what you put in front of me, I'm moving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
it is a vicious
So were
cycle.
there moments that you like, you felt truly hopeless? You were homeless, you were sleeping in broke down cars, like what was a day like for you just trying to survive?
It was mentally fucking exhausting, man. You know what I mean? Because literally every day I felt hopeless, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like depression on top of all that set in a lot too. You know what I mean? And just like having no desire to do anything. You know what I mean? Having no will or want to do anything but get high. You know what I mean? And just so you don't feel something.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, literally, like, you know what I mean? Like, to the point where shit happens, you don't even cry no more. You know what I mean? Because, like,
Oh,
you just, you know what I mean? Like, just you don't care if you live or die one way or the other, you know, because you're already living dead, you know? Like,
Just
and that's
existing.
the way I felt for so, you know?
been there.
Yeah,
Especially the no crying part. Like even if you wanted to cry, there was no tears coming out. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like you can't even force yourself to cry because there's nothing there.
yeah,
It's like you're lifeless, you're soulless. It's,
yeah,
I've been
exactly.
there. Definitely been there.
Yeah,
So how did you keep yourself
yeah. I
going
just,
during those times when you felt like that? Like, did you have
shit,
support?
I
Did
hate
you
to
have
say it,
somebody you got high with, a girlfriend? You know what?
it was most of the time it was just chasing the dope. You know what I mean? Just hoping for one more type thing. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then just you know, I spent a lot of time at my cousin's house, both of them that sold dope, and and so like I really never had to pay for dope in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Just because I would sell it for them, they would give me a lot, and and so most of the time, man, I just spent most of my days high. You know what I mean? And like I said, I would thought I had so-called friends. You know what I mean? Because you always got friends when you have dope,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, and I would get them all high, whatever, until I pass out or whatever, you know, from being up for 3 or 4 days. Then I'd pass out and then wake up and all my dope's gone and nobody just magically seen where it went, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's
And
pretty
then, but
good.
a lot of times too, man, I, uh, I just struggled, man. You know what I mean? Luckily, I had family or whatever that sold drugs and shit that helped me out. You know what I mean? But like, dude, a lot of times I was just a mess, bro. Broken. And like, dude, when I got on meth or whatever, like I would pick myself so bad. And I feel like from
Woo!
stress and anxiety too of it. Yeah, dude. And I'm talking like I would walk around bandaged all the way up. Like you can ask anybody
Oh,
that knew me back then. Yeah, like I got
yeah.
scars all over me. Yeah. Like and
I
Man, luckily
dude,
I
yeah.
was never a picker, man.
I picked a couple
Yeah.
times, but nothing.
Yeah.
I wasn't like the picker, but like I did pick. It
But
was
yeah.
like twice, and man,
Now
Yeah.
there was this one pimple
Like
on
dude,
my back, you know what I'm saying? That probably wasn't there. And like I had a fucking
yeah.
crater on my back, dude. Like shit.
yeah,
Trust me.
yeah,
Like I would pull my hair out and everything, bro. Like I got locked up before, whatever, with big old patches of my hair missing and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Damn,
yeah,
man.
that bad. Like, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I knew
telling
some
you, I
people
was on
like
a shit
that.
show, bro.
Yeah, just disappeared,
Yeah.
be in the bathroom for
Picking
hours.
tweezers.
Yeah.
I had a
Oh, yeah,
woman I
I have.
knew, Brenda. She'd do it too. She said there was meth mites in her skin. She had to
Oh
get them
shit.
out.
Yeah,
And she would
yeah, I thought
swear up
that
and
too.
down they were
Shit.
there and tell me that asked me if I seen them, and then she'd be in there and you wouldn't see her. She'd be in the bathroom with tweezers and she'd come out. It was bad.
I mean, but that's fucking the part
Yeah,
Yeah,
of it that you know what I mean, that shit's real to him.
yeah,
And
it is. It
dude,
is.
you
And
convinced me it wasn't. I
yeah,
swear.
I would never
Yeah,
though. Like even today, if I seen somebody that was
yeah.
like, was in a psychosis mode, I wouldn't try to convince them otherwise.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, I understand, like it's real to you. You know what I mean? Like
I
I'm not gonna discontinue what they're seeing.
I will never forget picking Walsh up that time and he's talking about the little fairies making potions and
And
shit. And like,
wizards.
you know what I mean? We never dismissed
oh
it
yeah,
or that shit's real to him. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
the only thing we could do him is reassure him he's safe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Absolutely, bro. for sure.
Now I will say,
And
like,
man, that's another thing.
go ahead, bro.
Oh no, you go ahead. I
So
was gonna say like that's why like I try to tell people, bro, like talk to people from my hometown now, bro. You know what I
Mm.
mean? To show them like, bro, if I can do it, like you know that cliche ass saying, like you know what I mean? If I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, absolutely.
cliche as hell, but like it's honestly the truth. You know what I mean? Because if I can do it, literally, you know what I mean? Anybody can do it,
Anybody
bro.
can do
You
it.
know, because like
Yes.
I, I literally came down here with a trash bag full of clothes that's it in a dope habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, you know what I mean? Me and my fiance have a 2 bedroom house, 2 new cars in the driveway, you know what I mean? Like, and have everything I wanted, you know what I mean? Like, and just live not even 2 years yet. You know, it's nuts, man.
I will say, like, during my active addiction, man, like, I learned a lot of lessons. You know what I mean? In my darkest moments, they become my brightest lights now. What do the streets
Yeah.
teach you that nothing else could?
They taught me life, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That you can't, you gotta be a slick motherfucker to get something over on me. You know what I mean? Because 90% of the time you think something's happening, bro, I already know it's happening. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so, it taught me, bro, you know what I mean? Like the things that school can never teach you, you know what I mean? Just how to survive, you know what I mean? When you have nothing, you know how to turn nothing into something. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's a blade of grass. I guarantee you I can make 15 bucks off of it. You know, by the end of the day, I'll have food. You know what I mean? I turn it into shoes, a car, anything I need to, you know? And it just, man, and it just taught me, you know, to never give up on myself and that, you know, I can make it through whatever I need to, really, you know? And, and it just taught me to be appreciative, man, of the little things in life. You know, it's just like the other
Yeah.
day, bro. I was laying on my couch or whatever, and I was just sitting there, like, damn, man, like you know what I mean, thinking of all the nights that I prayed that I had somewhere to just lay at because I was so fucking exhausted, and now I can just
Yeah.
lay in there and be lazy as I want if I want to. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just it taught me to be appreciative of the little things, man. You know?
But it's also a double edged sword, right? Like, there's a lot of lessons that I learned that were really bullshit, right? Like, I can't show emotion.
For
I gotta
sure.
act this way. I gotta be like this. So when I got in
Yeah.
recovery, like, one of my biggest challenges
Yeah.
was being vulnerable with people. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I refused to let anybody inside and really know what was going on with me because I didn't want you to think I'm
Me
weak
too.
or, that was
Me
one of the
too. For
biggest
sure.
challenges I had to overcome.
Yeah. I think everybody does because you're so used to not knowing who you truly are. And you're so used to being
Yeah.
this other
It's a
person.
fight or flight. Yeah. Yeah, for
Well, like,
sure.
I remember the first
Like,
time people would show me genuine care, right? And I'm like, man, these motherfuckers got
you don't.
motives. You know what I mean? Like, what are they really trying to get from me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have trouble with that today, bro. People say I'm not affectionate enough. You know what I mean? But it's just like I've never been taught that. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I've never had someone love up on me or you know what I mean? Like give me hugs and all that shit. You know what I mean? So it's different to me. You know what I mean? And especially being locked up a lot most of my 20s, you don't do that in there. You know what I mean? And it's not that I don't care or nothing. You know what I mean? I have a different way of showing it. I guess you know what I mean. And yeah, man, I can't tell you how many people told me that though. But now, like, bro, like I would have never done this before. You know what I mean? I got on here and like share my story to try to help somebody. But like you said, man, you got to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like it don't make you no less of a man. You know what I mean?
Mm.
At all. Honestly, it makes you more of a man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it takes more strength
Because
for sure.
yeah, because that whole persona that they try to paint men is that you can't show emotion, you can't do this, none of that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, bro. You know what I mean? I just try to be who I am. You know what I mean? And it tends to work for me. You know what I mean? So I respect it, bro, for sure.
Gotta be vulnerable.
Yeah, I had to read a fucking book, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I had to relearn how to do everything because I didn't know shit. I thought I knew it, I thought I knew things,
Or,
but then, treatment and a lot of help and a lot of consistency and a lot of great people,
Research.
yeah, that too. You know, uh, I just really wanted to learn everything I could about the thing that was defeating me day in and day out, day in and day out. So I really dug deep into what addiction was and how it affected me mentally, physically, and emotionally. So,
right. Yeah, like
it's
when I no, you're good. You're good.
no, you're all right. Go ahead.
Like when I actually went to treatment, dude, and actually because I try to tell people in treatment now that always like try to downplay it and stuff. If you go to something dreading it, you're not going to want to be there. You're going to miss something that you probably need to hear. You know what I mean? But like when
Yeah.
I woke up and I was like 90 days goes quick. You know what I mean? Because I've done it 100 times in county. And so I was like, and if I'm not willing to put the work in while I'm here, that's taking a bed from an addict that could want to be here. You know what I mean? That could potentially go overdose and die because I want to be in here bullshit. And
Yeah.
so I woke up every day and tried to hit it to the fullest, man, or whatever. And honestly, the shit that I learned in there about everything, man, it taught me how to live. It changed my life. You know what I mean? And so that's what, like, I try to tell people, like, dude, 90 days is nothing. You know what I mean? Sit down, take notes, and look at it as a fresh start button. You know what I mean? A restart on the rest of your life, And like I said, it changed my life, man.
So I think one of the biggest things to touch on that though is like I went to treatment 4 times before this last time, right? And
Right.
where I always failed was application, right?
Oh,
I have all this fucking knowledge of how recovery should go and what I should do, but if I'm not willing to apply any of it to my life, none all that knowledge is meaningless.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, bro. And I heard a lot down here in like the meetings and shit was you know what I mean? Like get a sponsor, work the steps, whatever, and take suggestions, bro. So like all these people that got like 15, 20 years clean, you know what I mean? It works for them. So basically whatever they would recommend me to do, you know what I mean? I basically did it. You know what I mean? I got a home group, I got a sponsor, I started working the steps and I was brutally honest in the steps, you know what I mean? And I started doing shit that I didn't want to do that would make me uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Because I know that's how I'm going to grow. And like if you would have told me, bro, I'd be on my second year of college right now with 40 credits, you know what I mean? It don't even sound real. 2 years ago, I didn't even have a fucking GED sitting in prison. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, yeah, and
yeah,
it's insane, man. But like I've talked myself out of doing so much stuff too, bro. You know what I mean? Because I doubt myself, or you know what I mean, that anxiety and fear and shit. You know what I mean? Like I about talked myself out of doing this, man. Like before I got here, and I feel like that's the enemy. You know what I mean? Talking to me. And but like I'm glad I did, man. You know what I mean? Because it's only nerve wracking, I guess, for a second, and once you're in it, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
cool, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so bad when somebody's guiding you, a little bit and asking you the questions. Like you're doing great.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people need to know about, your years of using, you being homeless, you having endocarditis, and that moment, like I have up here about you in prison, that conversation with somebody who's serving life in
Yeah.
prison, and that conversation that shifted for you. Like,
Yeah.
what was it that he said to you that made that shift for you inside your mind?
It basically just, man, just, you know what I mean? Him telling me that, because like what blew my mind about prison, man, is you see some of the fucking like best talent you've ever seen in your life, and meet some of the coolest people, you know what I mean, that made one mistake, dude, and are never coming home or doing 25, 30 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was just such a cool old dude, man. But it just hit me, man, because all right, so he had just this little towel laid out in front of his bunk or whatever that he put his sandals and shit on or whatever, and he basically just told me, you know what I mean, like dude, you got another chance at life, you know what I mean, or whatever. And he said, this is all I got for the rest of mine, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And like, yeah, that shit, dude, just like, you know what I mean? And I thought my little time was bad, 14 months. He'd been there 8 years since before I was born. Every day I've been alive plus 8 years, you know what I mean? In that same fucking spot, never leaving it. And that shit, I don't know. I just sat on my bed that night thinking about it and how he remained so positive and, you know what I mean? Not letting it destroy him, you know? And it just, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just resonated with me different, you know what I mean? And like, I was just sitting there thinking, like, man, out of all the shit I've done, you know what I mean? That could very easily be me, you know? And sitting here with 25, 30 years. And I feel like, but it's the way, and I feel like life is a lot about perception, the way you perceive something. You know what I mean? So you can take any situation and look at it bad, or even like my alternator going out today. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I had to pay like $100 to get it fixed, but look at it as it's just making my car last longer, putting another new part on it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, but I feel like God looked out. It breaking down on the same day I get paid, so at least I had the money to fix it. You know what I mean? Instead of it just fucking sitting out there forever. Because an addiction, that would have been over with. You know what I mean? I've never got it fixed.
Yep, selling it. That would have been the first. I don't need it anyway. I'm selling it. Yeah, that would have been my thought process for sure.
I mean, I think that's fucking crucial. What you just said, though, it really is your perception.
It is
because you know, like my failures now, I look at what can I learn from it or what can I do different, and it's not. I mean, I used to catastrophize everything, right? Like this is the end of the motherfucking world, bro. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it could still happen. You can still look at it like that, but today it's a little different.
Nah, I got you. Hey, get your head out of your
like,
ass.
bro, I just try not. I just try not to waste too much energy on, you know what I mean, focusing on what I don't have, what I don't got, and I try to look at what I do have now. You know what I mean? And because, like, bro, I could still be out there, dope sick as fuck, homeless with no way out. You know what I mean? And now, like, yeah, I don't have a Ferrari, but I got a nice car. You know what I mean? I don't have all the guitars I want, but I got fucking 5. You know what I mean? And I got 3 microphones, 3 badass cameras on tripods right there, 2 badass computers. You know what I mean? I got fucking everything I want, really, that I need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and it's like, dude, I bought tickets to the wrong concert, so I bought tickets to go see Doobie, all right, in a couple weeks. And I was supposed to buy tickets to the one in Dayton, whatever, but on accident, I didn't realize I bought them to the one in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or whatever. So I could have been. Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? I've never been to Indiana, so fuck it, you know?
Where you going, Coliseum?
Yeah. Huh?
You going to the Coliseum?
I'm not sure where it's at. Honestly, I just know it's at Fort Wayne, so I'm going to have to look it up. And then me and my girl are going to Incarceration this year, all 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Which is about to be so that's about to be awesome, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to spin it, though, right? You're pulling positives from bad situations. That's a great coping skill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little typology for that ass.
Like, yeah, because like I spent way too much of my life being miserable, man. You know what I mean? So like, I got gold-plated problems. You know what I mean? Like the quality of my problems today are not what they used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's a blessing in itself, for sure.
For real, I always say, all the problems I have today is everything I prayed for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure
that's
is.
Real, yeah. And that's 100% real, bro. You know, that's a good way to look at it. I like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's talk about where Cory's at today, right?
Let's get to the good
now you're a peer supporter. You just got your peer support, right? You're a peer supporter. What does that mean to you?
It still don't even seem real. You know what I mean? Like the last time I seen my name was State of Ohio when it was an indictment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I see State of Ohio certified peer recovery supporter, whatever, is crazy, man. And I got a certificate from Shawnee State too that I just got for College of Health and Human Services.
Yes.
So I got then May 4th I start for my bachelor's in audio engineering to get better at this type of shit. You know, and so I'm looking super forward to that. And but now I work in treatment. I get to take clients to meetings. I play music for them. I take them to Bible study. And that is still, you know what I mean? if you would have told me I'd be doing that when I was in active addiction, I'd look at you like you're lame. You know what I mean? Type
Yeah.
shit. And but dude, I look forward to it every week. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. So and like just getting out of Jackson County alone, I feel like was one of the biggest steps for me. You know what I mean? Because there's just too much there, and just there's not a lot of recovery there like there is in Portsmouth. You know,
Yeah.
like any day of the week, there's a meeting, and there's 27 rehab too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of
Yes.
recovery.
It's a
Yeah,
huge recovery community for sure. For sure.
yeah, for, yeah. And it's not so frowned upon here. You know what I mean? That's what I like. And like, because a lot of people, you know what I mean, especially like in Jackson or Colton, you tell them you're in treatment, or you know, some they look at you, you know what I mean, a certain type of way and shit. And
Yeah.
here, I like how it's not. Here, it's like a whole fucking community. You know what I mean? That is together trying to help you. You know, and that's what I like. I like being a part of that community.
So how does it feel helping other people who are where you once were?
I feel like it's everything that I've really ever wanted to do, man. You know what I mean? Because like, and I feel like it fills a void that I had in my heart. Because like, I love making music. You know what I mean? And I want to help people through that or doing stuff like this. But this is the next best thing. You know what I mean? Especially when you get to see that light bulb click on with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they finally get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you see them start progressing and making changes in their life, and see them get their shit together. You know what I mean? That's the biggest reward, man. It's awesome. You know,
So
and you can't buy that.
I know for me it was huge, right, when I finally had the realization. But how does
Yeah.
it feel for you that all the pain you went through has now become your purpose?
Oh,
Uh, Dude, it feels awesome, man. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays, man, because like the biggest thing I had to learn too about myself, man, when I first got the treatment was one of my counselors told me that I wasn't the worst thing I ever did. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because
Mm,
like I used to beat myself about shit, and and my sponsor told me you got to feel it to heal it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that shit
That
stuck.
used to piss me off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so man, now like you know what I mean. I feel like I'm a whole new person. You know what I mean? I don't look at myself for all the bad shit I've done, because if I keep looking back that way, I'm gonna go right back that way. You know what I mean?
mm.
So I just look ahead and focus on what I'm doing now. You know what I mean? And let what I'm doing now define the person I am today. You know? So yeah,
Do you ever see yourself in them?
yeah, a lot, a lot. You know what I mean? And that's why like I try to tell them, and I feel like that's why a lot of the clients, you know what I mean, fuck with me a lot. You know what I mean? Because like I don't try to go in there on no super cop shit like I'm better than you or any of that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm one bad decision away from being right here with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I try to keep that mindset, and I let them know that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm not no better than you. I don't think I'm no better than you. Like, I battle my demons every day. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you guys help me as much as I help you. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
because they're my type of people. You know what I mean? They're just in a fucked up spot that I've been in a lot, you know? And that's why I try to just preach to them, like, bro, take this little time that you got some stability in your life, somewhere to stay at, somewhere to sleep at, food, whatever, and take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like, take the fucking blessings that they're trying to offer you and help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I had to swallow my a lot too and be like, oh, no, I'm a man. I got this. No, like, obviously I don't got this or I wouldn't be here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, yeah, so I had to. That's why, like, bro, when I just sat down, shut up, and kept my mouth shut. You know what I mean?
Listen.
And because obviously I didn't get like I thought I did. You know?
I used to
Yeah.
always tell people, man, like it took me years and years to destroy my life. What's 90, 120? What's a year? You know what I mean? To build back and gain
Exactly.
more than you ever had.
Yeah. That's it right
Exactly.
there. You said it.
Yeah.
You ain't got shit to
When
lose.
I got here, bro.
Nothing.
Yeah. exactly. Like they told me when I got here, give recovery 1 year, and if you don't, every fucking bit of your misery is right out there refundable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, all you gotta do is step right back out. It's all right
Yep.
back tenfold. And so, like I said, dude, my first year of recovery, like, dude, literally, all right, I went from never having a car to literally my insurance dropped me or whatever because I went through too many last year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, if that does anything, like, bro, and like, in just a little accomplishments, bro, like, finishing my first lease, you know what I mean? Paying my rent for a year and shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit feels good. You know what I mean? And and just the fact that I'm on my own now. Me and my girl have been living together for like a year and a half, 2 years, and it's crazy because ever since we've been together, we've never lived with nobody else. We've always had our own house, always. You know what I mean? And that's crazy to say. Like, you know, that's never happened before in my life. Like, so it's crazy, man. Recovery is definitely worth it, man. And I know it's scary.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I know it's scary, but it's so worth it. You know what I mean?
It is.
For sure.
It is.
What's the most important thing you try to give them that you didn't have?
Your clients.
Just hope, man. You know what I mean? Because I went from being hopeless as hell, and I heard this thing in a meeting that hope is hearing other people's experience. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And because like, you know, you come down here feeling so alone and shit, and then once you get to hear some of these leads and shit where other people give, that you realize, you know what I mean, you're not the only person in that boat. There's a whole room. Like some of these meetings are so packed down here, you can't even fit someone else in them. Like literally 100 people. You know what I mean? And so and being, you know, I just try to show them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I went from nothing. You know what I mean? Literally nothing. And like, bro, if I can do it, just, you know, but you can't force someone. Like, they gotta want it. You can give them all the tools in the world. You know what I mean? But if they don't ever use them, and so I just try to tell them, bro. You know what I mean? Literally, give it a try. You know what I mean? Because what else? Literally, like you said, what else you got to lose, bro? Anytime you want to go back, the streets is always there waiting. You know?
It's there. Available.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Easy to go back out there.
Yeah.
The hardest part is coming back in and getting sober and stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
So what? How has your work that you do today? How has it changed you as a person?
It's made me. I feel like deflate my ego that I had a lot. You know what I mean? Not so big head. Yeah, and you know, and it's made me be less judgmental on people. You know, and meet people where they're at. And it's just made me want to not think so much about myself. You know what I mean? And be there for people more. You know what I mean? And put myself on the back burner a little bit. You know, because I used to have the biggest ego, man, and I realized I can get deflated real quick or get humbled real quick. You know what I mean? And yeah, so now,
sounds like you're humble. You got some humility, you know.
I remember when I was in transitional and I finally start working again, right? I'm like, I'm fucking pumped about it, bro. I'm like, man, I'm about to start making legal money. And dude, one of the best counselors I ever had, his name's Justin Knable. He was like, well, congratulations for being a fucking adult. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, bro. You just fucking shot me all the way down. You know what I mean?
And shot your little pregnant clear to the floor, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's gonna be making that $7 an hour.
Hey, I've been there, man, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
But sometimes, you know what I mean? I definitely needed a shot of fucking humble pie a couple times, bro. You know what I mean? And it seems like it's by the most random ass person too that always ends up humbling me. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like a 70-year-old grandma humbled the fuck out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just yeah, just hit me with some life real quick. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
Life. All right, Cory, what would you say to
yeah.
someone who is still stuck in the cycle that you once were?
I would tell them reach out. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help, man. Because no matter how you feel about yourself, there are people out here that will definitely lend a hand with no judgment at all. You know what I mean? And will definitely come help you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care where you're at. You reach out to me, I'll come get you personally. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And uh, yeah, and help get you in wherever, you know? And just because, man, I know there's a better life out here if you want it, and some people just don't have the access to get help, you know what I mean?
yep.
And like my girl, she works transportation for the counseling center, and like literally she'd be going to Dayton, Batavia, Columbus, wherever to pick people up to bring them to treatment.
What?
You know
I
what I mean?
report for Batavia Center.
Yes.
Well, not, uh, but I do reporting for Batavia for right because I work for
Yeah.
Brightview and I should, yeah, yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Kim.
Yeah.
Um,
I work for a place called Mahajans. It's a little like smaller company, but
yeah,
I feel right at home there. You know what I mean? Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
same.
awesome, man. Like, and I like how it's smaller, and I feel like I get more out of the clients there instead of like somewhere big where I feel like they just shuffle them through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I feel like I get that bond with the clients more. It's awesome.
All right, what would you tell somebody right now who feels hopeless that would be listening? What would you want them to know if they were feeling hopeless right now?
I would want them to know that there are better days. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And you know that one literally that just don't give up on yourself, man. You know what I mean? If you truly want a better life, you know what I mean, that then there is one out there waiting on you, you know what I mean? And then like I
yeah.
used to, that saying, I used to play the victim role so much,
Mm.
like saying that old saying they say when everybody wakes up they got the same choices every day or whatever. All
Yep.
right, well I used to say, well, but motherfuckers that are from another town got access to this. When you're from here, you don't. But okay, now that I've just come to realize like the last couple of days, but now I get what that saying means when it's what you want to do with your life, how you try to, you know what I mean, better your life. Like, yeah, I was stuck in a shitty situation, but it didn't get better until I chose to make a choice to make it
Yeah.
better. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? Instead of making get high again. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
so, yeah, if the choice is yours, literally, if you want a better life, there is one out there. You know what I mean? And like I
Yeah.
said, if you feel like you don't have access, you can hit me up personally. You know what I mean? And I promise you, we'll get you here.
Yep.
And yeah, so you know what I mean. That's why, like, if you're hopeless, and I'm always here to talk to whoever, man. You know what I mean? So, like, don't be afraid to hit me up.
Well, you heard it here. Cory said, you're one
Yeah,
good decision away
yeah,
from talking to Cory if you guys
there,
need some help. Any of us,
absolutely.
really.
I would definitely
You can
get
hit
For
any of us
sure.
up.
yeah,
Cory, you did amazing.
sure.
I know you was nervous. You you absolutely nailed it. But thank you for sharing your
Thank
story
you.
with us. It's proof that survival is
Thank you.
step one, right? That's the name of my theme for my event this year. That survival was step one. But purpose is what comes next, right?
Mhm.
So you're the purpose, we're the purpose. Like we've all, and I'm still finding purposes right in life. So, and I've got, almost 8 years of sobriety, and we are all
Awesome.
living proof that you can do it. Cory said it
Yeah.
earlier, if he can do it, you can do it. If I did it, you can do it. We can all do it. Let's do it together though,
I promise
right? Let's
you, for
all do
sure.
it together.
Absolutely.
Um, and
For sure.
don't give up.
I think that's one of the biggest things, man. When someone finally realizes they're not alone.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that there's other
for
people
sure.
just like you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was. I used to be special, unique, and different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Ain't nobody got my problem. And everything happened to
Me
me,
too, bro.
and not because of me.
Yeah. And I want to remind
Exactly.
everybody that, you know, Cory is a peer recovery supporter. So don't, you know, if you need help, reach out to him, right? Reach
Right.
out.
Certified for sure.
He said, I'm certified too. I kept mine even though I don't use it.
Never know.
Hell yeah. Hey,
I'm never going to lose it. I'm
still
going to
waiting.
keep, you know, taking the courses I need to renew it because like Matt just said, you never know when you're going to, you know, you're going to want to use it or I might get a wild hair and be
Got
like, hey,
options nowadays. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like
Yeah,
I worked really
that's
hard for that and I
that's
was
what.
super, super proud of it.
Yeah, it is something to be proud of, man. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Our not yets are just different these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
earlier, he said I ain't got that Ferrari. Shit, not yet, bro.
Not
You know
yet.
what I
You never
mean?
know where it's going, Cory. You know what I'm saying? That Ferrari might be like
Hey,
2-3 years in the making.
I hope.
Yeah.
Hey, it gives me something to work towards, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but
For
that's real
sure.
shit, man. Because early on in our recovery and our relationship, like we'd always be like, "Well, we don't have this," and I would always say, "One day."
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then days
Yeah.
came,
Just
bro.
not right
Yeah.
now. Just
That's
not
it.
right now. You know? And
Isn't
I
it
always tell
crazy
myself
seeing the
that all
shit
the
that's
time.
like you? Yeah, like I tell my girl all the time, it's crazy seeing the shit that we talked about. You know what I mean? Slowly come to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like reaching those goals. Shit, you know, it's so like in the everything used to feel impossible now that you know, but like since recovery, bro, nothing really seems unobtainable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just putting the work in for it. Yeah.
Yep. It's what you're gonna do to get it.
Shit, man. We're talking
Yeah.
about being uncomfortable, and like, man, my wife, she talked me into doing all kinds of shit that makes me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? She gets me an event. I'm talking in front of like 300 people. Now, you know, we start doing this, and like, really, I'm not really a sociable person. You know what I mean?
I'm a
But
talker.
shit, I'm getting there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
I,
hey, you gotta be
it's
uncomfortable
awesome,
to
man.
get comfortable, right?
Yeah.
That's the truth for sure.
Well, you killed it, bro.
I try
You
to live
killed it.
by it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate. I appreciate you guys too, man. Thank you.
You're welcome. And a shout out to everybody who showed up to support him, our Athens people. Stephanie, you were there. She said, "You're a miracle. Thank you." That's what she said.
Thank you.
Man, where's Thomas at?
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you, Cory. We appreciate you once again. Remember, everybody, we can upload his episode to YouTube. If you guys did miss it, it will be on Facebook, but it only lasts 30 days. If you did miss this episode, if anybody wants to go back and rewatch it, we will upload it to the YouTube channel. Cheryl Willis said, "So proud to call you my son."
Yeah, that's my mom.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Love you.
Aw.
Oh, shout out to
Shout out to
mom.
mommy.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to mom. All right, Cory. We
Yes.
appreciate you. And like I said, I'll send you that link also for the podcast thing. If you need any pointers or anything like that, just let us know. We will definitely get that to you and whatever you need. Thanks, Ashley.
All right. Awesome.
All right, guys. I will be sharing who's coming on Monday, probably tomorrow. So don't forget, guys, join us Monday. Don't forget, next month we're going back to 1 day a week. And everybody give Cory a shout out at the end of this, and we will be making you a shirt, Cory. And I'll also send you the design because I know you make your own shirts.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Awesome.
right. Well,
Thank you
thank
guys.
you. We appreciate you. All right, everybody. We will see you guys next Monday.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.